everybody. I'd like to read you a story for this morning, and I like this story because it gives me hope, and I think we could all use more of that right now. It's from We Need to Talk by Celeste Headlee, and I like this book because Headlee says, listening to someone doesn't mean agreeing with them. The purpose of listening is to understand, not to endorse. And I do want to say before I read this story that it's not a violent one, but Headlee does make explicit reference to a terrorist organization. Her name was Xernona. She moved to Atlanta in 1965 to work for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the civil rights group whose first president was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Xernona worked hard to desegregate Atlanta's hospitals so that the sick and wounded patients wouldn't have to be transported miles away to an institution that catered to their race. Her work was noticed by the mayor of the city, Ivan Allen Jr., and he appointed her to lead the Model Cities program. That program was part of President Lyndon Johnson's Great Society. Its goal was to improve poor neighborhoods and foster a new generation of Black civic leaders. As head of Model Cities in Atlanta, Xernona oversaw 5 different communities, and each of those communities had a chairperson. When she started her work, Mayor Allen warned her about one of those chairs, Calvin Craig. Craig, at the time, was a Grand Dragon in the Georgia realm of the United Klans of America, Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Over the course of the next year or so, Xernona and Calvin ended up talking almost every day, not just about race, but all kinds of things. For some reason, Calvin Craig kept on returning to her downtown Atlanta office. And so they would sit and chat, always friendly, always respectful. She says he never called her by her first name. I mean, he acted so gentlemanly and we would have such laughter, Xernona says. And I asked, why do you keep coming here? You and I don't agree on anything. He laughed and said, oh, Mrs. Clayton, you're fun to talk to. If you were unaware that Clayton and Craig were talking so often, it must have been a stunning development when Calvin Craig held a press conference in April 1968 to announce that he was leaving the KKK. He said he would henceforward dedicate his life to building a nation in which Black man and white man can stand shoulder to shoulder in a united America. Like most stories, this one is more complicated than it appears on the surface. Craig would eventually rejoin the KKK, only to quit again years later. But it is not an exaggeration to say that Xernona talked him out of his racism. Craig himself credited her with his conversion, and his daughter, 43 years after her father's historic press conference, called Xernona and begged to see her. I came here especially to thank you, she said when they met, because you healed my father and cleansed our family. Xernona explained that she didn't set out to change Craig's mind. Dr. King had told her, quote, you've got to change a man's heart before you can change his behavior. That's it. Have a good morning, everyone.